Hey everyone, welcome to a very special Over a Beer review. I'm Rich.
I'm Nick.
I'm Dana.
And we just got out of seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. So we're going to give you a little bit of review on it. Start off in typical fashion of spoiler free. It's a Ninja Turtle movie, so it's not like any spoilers we would talk about would be huge. But if you don't want to know anything about the movie, we will have a point in it where we'll tell you we're going to actually get into major plot details, as major plot details as this movie has. So right off the bat, what did you guys think?
Yeah, so, let's start with Dana. If you did not watch the Ninja Turtle video that we put up a week ago or so, Dana had never seen a Ninja Turtle movie ever before, or cartoon, or played a video game, any of that stuff until like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you watched the original 1990 film, and you were kind of lukewarm on it. So, did you enjoy this experience more or less?
I liked this one a lot better than that one. It was just newer, more fun. The other one didn't seem to want to be fun. This one was fun.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked the turtles a lot better. Maybe just because they weren't wearing costumes and they were fake, how they should be. So I liked that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you liked this one more.
Yeah. I thought it was a good movie.
Good.
Easy to follow. I could understand what was going on. I didn't really have too many questions. And the questions I had weren't really about the plot.
Okay.
All right. So maybe we'll have you ask some of those to us in a minute.
Yeah.
Rich, you, like me, big lifelong Ninja Turtle fan,
Mm-hmm.
but the first of this current iteration of these movies
Yeah.
that came out a couple years ago, you were not a big fan of.
No, it was not.
So did this one redeem that in your mind?
I like this one better than the previous one. I still have issues with this movie, though. I think it really captures the turtles well, the relationship well. I think this movie's at its best when it's dealing with the turtles and kind of their back and forth and their humor and as brothers and their conflicts and stuff like that. But the human people stuff just didn't do much for me in this.
And it did it for you in the old one?
It was...
Because that sucked.
No, that's fair. It was a little different. I don't want to get too deep into it until we get into
All right.
spoiler type
So
stuff.
you liked it more than the original?
Yeah.
Would you recommend it for people who?
Yeah, if you like the original or the first one of this series or the Turtles at all, just going for them is enjoyable.
Yeah, it was fun.
Cool. As for me, I was more of a fan of the first of these movies
Really?
than you were.
Then okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Not the original. I love the originals.
Yeah.
But the one from a couple years back, I was more of a fan of that. I thought it had story issues, overall, but I did think that they captured the turtles really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, overall, that movie worked because to me, the Ninja Turtles, the potential of these movies, in my mind, is not to become the Dark Knight, transcend the genre.
No.
To me, what makes a good Ninja Turtle is if it's fun, if the turtles are correct,
Mm-hmm.
and if I enjoy myself. And I did in the first one, and I did even more in this one. I really liked this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought that they built on what they developed with the turtles, and then just way brought it up. And then the cool thing with this is if you were a fan of the 90s cartoon series, or really any of the cartoon series that they've done, this is one of those brought to life.
Yeah.
100%. This is the cartoon, maybe slightly edgier. There's a few swear words.
Yeah, that was a little...
There was.
I don't care one way or the other, but it was just weird hearing Leonardo say shit or whatever he says in it.
I agree. It was kind of I mean, did they need that? Probably
Yeah.
not. But yeah, I mean, it is the cartoon come to life. That's what I was hoping we would get with the original, or with this first one,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of years ago, and it's really what we got here. You get, you see the things in the trailer. You get everything that you always wanted to see from the cartoon in live action. And to me, I thought it was really cool. It has a couple standout cool action scenes. But I agree with you. I think that the human stuff works a lot better than that one a couple years ago, with the exception of everything with Will Arnett.
Yeah.
His character, whenever he's doing solo stuff in this movie, that could have just been cut out.
Absolutely.
It's not funny enough. It's not relevant
enjoy
enough.
I liked him.
I'm not saying that he's necessarily bad. It's just
It's unnecessary.
The movie is 2 hours. It easily could have been an hour and 35 minutes if you cut out 2 longer scenes that he's in.
But
by
see,
himself.
I would have liked to have cut. I mean, it was almost 2 hours, but it seemed like it went by really quick.
Yeah, I thought so.
Like, if you cut out some of the Will Arnett stuff and some of the other things, like, I feel like other parts of it could have been extended.
Maybe. Yeah, but I thought Megan Fox was far less annoying as April O'Neil in this movie. I actually thought she was a fine April O'Neil this time, where in the first movie I thought she was ditzy and stupid, and I just didn't really care for it. And I thought that the addition of, say, Stephen Amell as Casey Jones was enjoyable enough. He had a couple cool moments overall. They could do more.
Yeah,
but
I would have
think
liked
as
to
an
have.
introduction. It was. I thought he was fine.
There was a lot of parts for me. I don't want to get we're still in non-spoiler stuff, but where I wish they would have pushed him further and let him be more Casey Jones than just action guy who's just kind of there to look good and do things. Like, I don't feel like you get enough of the Casey Jones out of him.
I think that there was just enough. I mean, I don't think the way that he's presented in this movie, there's no reason that he would be like super action man. I think that over the course of before a third one, you could make him more like he's been training with the turtles, and it would have been weird if all of a sudden he was fighting aliens with where you see.
Well, no, I agree with that, but I mean, it's just. Do we want to get?
We can move into. I mean, literally, there's nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, if
if you don't want to know anything else, just
you can stop it here. You get the gist of what we thought about it. But you have like the one scene of him with the hockey mask, and then he's just sort of, I'm Stephen. He seemed more like it was just Stephen Amell being Stephen Amell as opposed to Casey Jones. Like, I don't know, like, it just didn't, because there was a lot of stuff where it was just kind of like, okay, well, he's just kind of going. I mean, he's in the other forms of Ninja Turtles, like, he's trained. I mean, he can fight and hold his own.
They just didn't, for whatever reason, they decided to make him a cop in this one, and have him out. And
that's gonna be Detective Jones soon.
Which was hilarious. He didn't even get to become a detective at the end. I'm sure they were setting that up.
Yeah,
probably in the next one.
Maybe, yeah. But I really felt like there was just the appropriate amount. Like, he was not the focus of this movie. He was the audience's gateway to them starting to become more accepted by a human that's not April.
Yeah.
And, like, he was just the fish out of water, and there was some funny moments with him in the sewers and Splinter and them messing with him. And then, really, that was it. Like, honestly, if you really want to know why he's in this movie, it's to get a few action scenes that are cheaper. They don't have to do the CGI of the turtles. I mean, that's why they would put a character like this in this movie. But I really think that you set him up enough, you introduce him to people but to do anything more, it would have been just bloated in a way, more than it would need to be. Like, we know who Casey Jones is, other people don't. You set him up in the next movie, he can maybe be in the mask and stuff like that. I was not disappointed with the character's representation. So let's talk about some of the other characters.
Okay.
What did you think of some of the characters you had never seen in the movie? Bebop, Rocksteady.
I really wish that they weren't turned into those animals, because I liked them a lot better as people. And I didn't know, this was one of the questions that I asked. I didn't know that they were going to be bad. I was expecting them, because I really thought he was a pig. But that's only from, like, seeing it on, like, Nick's shirt. And so I just thought that because they were mutant too, that they would be friends with the turtles. And I didn't like how they weren't friends with the turtles. And I didn't like how they were the actual animals. I wish they were. I mean, which one was it? Bebop? He's the one with the purple sunglasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really cool, and I wish that he stayed human Bebop and not Warthog Bebop.
Okay.
Are we talking about the other one? The other guy at the end?
Yeah, Krang.
Yeah, he was weird. I didn't really get his deal, like, I mean, I guess maybe because I'm not familiar with what's going on with everything, so I don't know, you know, about the turtle's enemy, you know what I mean? So I just thought he came out of nowhere. And then I just didn't get it. Like, all of a sudden, like, he was there and he's like, I'm gonna roll everything. And, like, he just took out, like, the main bad guy like that. Like, it was, like, so easy for him.
Yeah. That is one of my big problems, too, is how underdeveloped and underused Krang is in this movie. Like, he shows up out of nowhere. Like, you're like, oh, well, you know, like you said about Casey Jones, like, we know who Casey Jones, the audiences know who Casey Jones is. And they took the time to introduce you to Casey Jones. Now, Krang, they did the opposite, where it was like, well, everybody's got to know who Krang is. And they just, like,
I don't think that they presumed at all. That
but, like, he seemed so underused.
I think that it is underdeveloped. Like, I think that the way that he is introduced is actually kind of fine, the way that, you know, Baxter Stockman creates the time.
What was with that guy?
I'll talk about him in a second, but the way that he creates the portal to help Shredder escape, but then it goes to the wrong place, it goes to Dimension X, and then he sees Krang. Like, that's actually kind of a smart way to introduce, like, there was a mistake made.
So it was just like an accident.
That he just happened to go there.
Yeah.
But then to not show him at all.
Yeah, like, he's supposed to be this big menacing villain, and they don't do anything with him. Like, you're just supposed to be afraid of him because he's Krang.
I mean, he was kind of just, like, goofy, too. He wasn't really menacing. It was just, like, silly. Like, he was trying to be silly. I didn't like that. Oh, push me back inside.
Like some of that stuff was.
He's just. I mean, that is straight out of the '90s comic or the '90s cartoon, though. That's exactly how he was.
So maybe that's why I don't like
that.
Yeah.
But, and I'm sure, like, you know, there was like a row of kids in our theater that I'm sure, you know, they laughed at a lot of stuff. They applauded at the end. I'm sure that they like that kind of stuff. But no, I totally agree. Like, I feel like in that first movie, you understand that what Shredder's doing with that satellite thing on that tower could destroy New York City.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what's going to happen. And this one, all of a sudden, this, they call him chewed up piece of bubble gum, shows up, and you're like, this thing's coming together. If you don't know what the Technodrome is, like, you probably had no idea what was coming together. And
no, I just figured it was like his ship. I mean, I just understood from the beginning that he just said they're going to destroy the world, so I just thought the whole world was going to be sucked up in the
Krang is in this
hole.
movie for maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, maybe less.
Yeah.
And in the first movie, too, like, the way that they end up beating Shredder, because they lose to him earlier on, is they really show how they have to work as a team to beat them. And that's not really, like, it was kind of the same message, like, we have to become a team again.
Yeah.
But the way that they beat Krang was not as well done with the teamwork thing as in the first one, to be honest. So I think that this movie does have some third act issues for sure. But overall, I thought it was a fun experience.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
It's fine.
You didn't like Baxter Stockman?
No, like, that was just another thing where, like, I understand, like, you want the movie to be, you know, like, fun and, like, silly, but also serious. But I think the Turtles do a lot of that. Like, they make, like, some of the funny moments, and, like, it's actually funny when they do it. He was just, like, creepy. Like, and it was like he was, like, trying to be funny. Well, not, you know, him, but, like, they were trying to make him be funny. And I just didn't find it funny. I just found it, like, weird. Like, his glasses were way too big for his face.
Yeah. See, again, as somebody who's not a fan of, like, the original stuff, the cartoon and stuff, like, that is Baxter Stockman.
Yeah, actually, I really like
cartoon.
I was kind of impressed that Tyler Perry pulled that off.
And that's how he is, and he ends up becoming something else, like a bad guy, and they might develop that more. But I could see how you, as like not a fan, like that doesn't feel like how we have movies now. That feels like how we have something out of the '90s, which I appreciated.
I mean, a lot of this stuff feels like
and there's a lot of
so
homages,
out
right?
of that. I mean, just so out of the '90s and just so ridiculous and over the top. And it's like, like there was a point in the movie where where Shredder's on the Technodrome talking to Krang, and I'm just like watching this and like, what the hell? I mean, like, you don't see that kind of thing anymore.
No, it feels like a throwback, and it feels like, again, like kids would enjoy this. We enjoy this as old school fans, and they do throw a lot of things to us. They get Vanilla Ice in there.
Yeah.
They get the original Turtles theme song at the end. There's the Turtle Van or Garbage Truck.
Ooh,
The horn was like
that was cool.
the start of the theme song and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And and Donatello, when she has his watch, like it lights up. At the
Yeah,
end,
it has a
almost
little
like the original animated look. There was a lot of cool, fun stuff like that, but I could see why you, not being familiar with the stuff, were just kind of like, some of this is just too goofy, too
Yeah.
90s, right?
Yeah. I mean, I really liked the garbage truck, though. That was really cool.
Yeah, they could have brought that back.
Yeah.
It was only in that one first action scene, which was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. Now, at the end of the first one, I know they have the van, but is it the van or is it the garbage truck at the end of the first one?
It's more like a van.
Okay. Because I remember it was the big reveal at the end of the first movie.
Yeah, don't they, like, I think they essentially used, like, Will Arnett's, they redeck out his camera truck or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think that's
It's
it.
definitely, it's not a garbage. It was really cool in this one, I thought. Okay, so overall, it sounds like we liked it. Maybe I liked it more. You liked it more than the other.
I like it more
we
than...
both liked it more than
Yes.
the first one.
We can...
But we both had separate opinions on the first one, too.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just so much in this where it's like, like he's Megan Fox, like you said, is less annoying and like is less. But at the beginning, it kicks off with, she's undercover, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like they're actually gonna have her do some reporting, and then within 5 minutes, it's like, I'm disguising as a schoolgirl just because I'm Megan. Just to have like those moments.
Yeah, I didn't like her.
And kind of play to that. Like I don't want to. Obviously, this isn't Michael. I don't want to make the this is a Michael Bay, but it has like those Transformer type moments in it where it's like we gotta play up the pretty humans to like kind of keep it.
I know, but to me that just it feels true to the tone of what they're trying to do. Like it's just I feel like they did make her less ditzy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And so like I appreciated that, but they have her dressed in that hot like schoolgirl outfit or whatever.
It's like right off the bat, I'm like, we're really already gonna go there, like. But I'm just glad there weren't like those stupid jokes, like there were like, oh man, I can feel my shell tightening in
doing stupid. All that stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, overall, so you didn't like Megan Fox?
I didn't like Megan Fox. I don't know, just like you said, she knows she's pretty and she just I didn't like her.
Like I don't really buy her as April O'Neil.
Yeah. Did she? I mean, I didn't see the
I've
first
just
one,
never
but
see. I've never viewed April O'Neil as like fucking Barbara Walters or something.
No,
you know what I mean. Like if you look at April in the original movies, she's like, or in the cartoon, like she's just there to need to be saved most of the time. Like I feel like at least they didn't really do that with her.
Yeah, I mean she's fighting along with them.
did something happen in the first movie where she was no longer a reporter, or?
She's like the low reporter on the totem pole.
Yeah.
She's covering stupid stories like, I think it's like she covers like cooking stuff in the city, and it's not like serious reporting that
she's like Christina Applegate in Anchorman, where they gotta do like the cat fashion show and stuff like that.
And she didn't do anything. She did one thing in this movie at like the end.
Well, it almost seems like until the end she's not a reporter anymore.
Well, that's the one thing I was trying to figure out too, is they don't make that. And there's like weird stuff where it's like, oh, they just happen to get on this plane and make their way. Like there's so much stuff where they just sort of leave you to accept.
There was a specific moment where I was like, I'm happy they don't take the time to explain any of this. It feels more like the cartoon. And that was the specific time when I thought about that was the airplane, but before that, when Shredder comes back with the purple ooze that
Yeah.
turned Bebop and Rocksteady, and he hands it to Baxter Stockman, and Baxter Stockman already has something that's exactly fits that to turn. And I was like, that's out of the cartoon. That's
Yeah.
great. Like, don't take the time to be like, give me a couple days to do this. Like, he already had the machine that fits the weird Krang bottle. Like, I was like, that's fine.
I would have liked
I
a
don't
little
care.
explanation.
I don't need that.
Like, I feel
I
like
really don't need that in a Turtles movie.
the beginning,
do.
like the first act, could have had a little bit more room to breathe and just sort of go. Like, it feels like they were just set up. Okay, we got to introduce this. We got to introduce this. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. And then you have like the stupid stuff with Will Arnett where he's like, I gotta pull this cable all the way around the room.
Okay,
and-
that was hilarious.
I didn't care for that. I thought that they did a smart job of recapping the events of the first movie
Mhm.
by showing that like Nick's video and having Will Arnett be the one that took the credit
Yeah.
for it. And then I thought that they did a nice job of introducing the Turtles again in case there were new audiences. I actually really like the part where Mikey is explaining who they all are.
Yeah.
Like
to,
on, like,
a
the
dating
Turtles.
show?
Mhm.
I thought that was really cool and clever. They just get the Turtles right.
Yeah, like
And
that's-
that's what matters to me.
Everything about the Turtles in this one, like I said earlier, like there was a couple jokes and weird things in the first one. I was like, but overall, I really like the way they portrayed those in the
And-
first one. And this one, I like it even more.
Yeah, and they all get their moments.
Do
Like,
they look different in this than the first?
They
Like they
look a
feel
little
like
bit
okay,
different,
I
yeah,
thought
for
so.
sure. It's slightly tweaked so that they're not as weird.
They're not quite as humanoid. They're a little more turtley, and they each are a little more like built differently.
Yeah.
Like it feels more like the new cartoon where they all kind of like are built a little bit
Mm-hmm.
differently.
And Leo gets his moments as
Mhm.
I'm the leader.
Yeah.
Holding back the secrets.
You got the
Raphael gets his like, oh, I'm a bruiser.
Mhm.
I don't like what you're doing. And Donnie gets a lot of great moments.
Yeah.
And Michelangelo has a lot of funny moments. Like they get.
they nail that
It's-
really
it's-
really well.
It's good. Like you liked the Turtles in this.
Yeah, I did.
So did this movie make you want to go back and watch like the first one of these, or maybe even more than the Turtle stuff, or are you kind of all set right now?
No, just the first one of these.
So you wouldn't want to see like the new cartoon or the old cartoon or anything like that.
Nah.
Okay.
I just want to see these people. I mean, yeah, just these people. In the first one, but I honestly feel like I don't even really need to see the first one, because
You don't. I mean,
know what's
if
happening.
you're still watching this, you're like, I didn't see that first
Yeah.
one. I didn't hear good things. You could totally walk into it. The only thing I think that you even were like, who is this? Like, what is this guy's role? Was Will Arnett.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like 2/3 of the way into the movie, you're like, what is his relationship to Megan Fox? Did they date or something in the first
Yeah.
movie? And I was like, nah, he was a cameraman. And you're
Mhm.
just like, oh, okay. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the
other
only-
than that, it's
Other
all-
than that, everything is either reintroduced or very clear for the most part.
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
if there's one dynamic of Ninja Turtles that is kind of missing from how we would normally see it presented, it is the dynamic between them and Splinter. Very held back. in this
Yeah, you
movie.
get a
He's
little
not in
bit of
very
it, but
much,
not a lot.
I liked that
which is
though.
fine.
I thought it was in the movie that I saw, the original one. I thought it was too much between him and the turtles, and I didn't care. I just don't really care for him. So I'm glad that he wasn't in it that much, and they talked very little. It was fine.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Splinter. I like the dynamic of him being their
Mhm.
sensei and their father and blah blah blah. But a lot of that stuff typically does slow down the movies, the cartoons,
Yeah.
the comics when he's talking. And
They're
like,
usually
teaching
these
them
very kind of
and
just
Mhm.
moments
life
of
lessons.
yeah.
And they didn't have time for that. I mean, it's a 2-hour movie, but they didn't need to take the time.
I like the
It was
whole
fine.
I'm about to reach, you know.
That was funny. I really
enlightenment
thought a
in-
lot of that stuff was really fun.
Yeah, like a lot of the jokes and stuff that they nail, at least for
Yeah.
them. Like them and Bebop and Rocksteady are great.
Mhm.
I thought they were really good, and Dana wasn't a big.
So the guys who wrote this movie, they wrote the first one too, and I remember because they also wrote the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the Brad Bird one.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
And they did that before Ninja Turtles, and I remember when they were brought on to Ninja Turtles after that, I was like, that's awesome. Like, and then it was kind of like, you guys did that awesome Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
and you wrote this kind of like bad screenplay, and I think they redeemed themselves a bit in this
Yeah.
movie. There's still, like we said, third act
There's a
issues,
lot of
but
like plot
there's
issues.
some legitimate humor, there's some legitimate
Mhm.
thing, and again, they get the characters, so overall, I would say, I would. This might even be like, honestly, my second favorite Turtles movie. Just even thinking about it.
Wow.
I mean, I still like Secret of the Ooze the most. I think
Okay.
that's like peak for me, and then probably this. I mean, I like the first one, but it is almost more serious than I want Turtles typically to be. I feel like you save the serious stuff for the comics, and then everything else to me, I just like it being fun because it's not layered enough to like, and it isn't like the first one's not. It's good. It'd be like number 3, but that's how I feel.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on this movie before we close? Where we put it back into the shadows?
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a favorite turtle now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we talked about that
Yeah.
last time when we each picked our favorite turtle. So who's
I
your...
bet I could guess.
Wait, can you guys say yours again? And then I get a chance?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Mine is Donatello.
As is mine.
Alright. You want to make a guess? You said you could make a guess. I'd like you both to guess what my favorite turtle is.
Yeah, I would say I would bet money that it's Michelangelo.
That's my thought too.
Yeah, he was my favorite. He was hilarious. He had the most funny parts.
He is.
He really
Yeah, I mean
did.
he's
He's the party dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked him. I didn't really understand why one of the turtles wore glasses. What is that? He wore glasses
That's Donatello.
and they were taped.
Well, yeah, because they live in the sewers, so he found two pieces of glasses, 2 half glasses, and
They looked like the same.
taped them together.
They looked like the exact same, and he just broke them.
It just distinguishes him
And
from
like
the other one.
how it
He's
stays
the-
on his head and it never breaks, and it's all perfectly
He's the
fine.
brain.
They did break. That's why he has tape on them.
Yeah, once, and then ever since then, he's all in all these fights. He's jumping out of.
He made all.
He's jumping out of planes, and his glasses are fine.
I
I
do
do-
all the cool tech he makes.
I do really like what they did with his staff in this.
Yeah.
Like, because that's something I like about the cartoon, too, the new one. I don't know, did you ever go back and start watching it, or no?
Well, I have. I've seen season 1. I just haven't seen all of the show.
Okay. Because they made some adjustments to his staff in that one, too, where it's got, like, the blade and stuff that comes out. And this, like, it's a little more, like, technological.
Yeah, he's got the shock. I think the first movie had.
Did
that
it?
stuff,
I don't
yeah.
remember.
Why
And
did
it
he?
extends and stuff.
Why did he have the game controller taped to his arm? What was that about?
He's the tech guy. Yeah, it's how he
Tech guy.
controls.
He had his drone that he sent the thing at the end of the technical.
What is it plugged into? What is he controlling with his?
Something...
Oh.
All right. And on that note, I think that it's a good point to put to rest
Yeah.
our review. Again, I would give it a definite recommend. Even if it's one of your first experiences or you're a lifelong Turtle fan, I think you'll overall be satisfied.
I think it's better than the previous one. I don't think it's great, though, but it absolutely nails the Turtles.
Thought it was great.
And then if you want to...
Great. On
And
the Dana
funny.
scale,
Okay,
And-
yeah.
what would
And
you
funny.
rate it on the Dana scale?
Oh, I would rate it pretty high.
Okay.
Maybe like an 8.5.
Wow.
That's
I
up
thought
there.
it was really good. I mean, I did go into it not really wanting to see it, and I don't know, I just didn't really care for it, but I really enjoyed it after seeing it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. If you want to get a little more in depth or talk to us some more about the Ninja Turtles or this movie or our thoughts, you can, of course, comment below, or you can reach out to us on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Rich Belson.
I'm at Stonks.
I'm at Dana Explains.
The channel is on Twitter at OABeer_official, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/overabeer. We're on Instagram too, over_a_beer, and of course YouTube at youtube.com/overabeer. If you enjoy these reviews and the videos that we do, you can like, share, and subscribe. That'll wrap up this Over a Beer review. So until next time, drink up.
Cowabunga!